Hello and welcome to Tooshka Training. We're back in Hitfilm 2 Ultimate, and this is the fifth in our series of elements. And this is things for HUDs, displays, little widgets, little gadgets, little things that are quick to make that help you build up a shot. These are more about the techniques than actually making a completed shot. So let's make a composite shot we'll call shot container. We're actually going to be looking at radial lines today, and I found a quick technique I liked. We'll just call this plain line color. I was messing with the grid, the generate grid, to create these radial lines, and it's quite hard to get an accurate set up with the exact lines you want and the exact placement that you want in a very quick way. But I found a way to do it very, very quickly by using atomic particles. So drop your atomic particles onto your plane. Open up the atomic particles properties, particle placement. You don't need position. We'll go to number of particles. We're going to bring X down to 64, which is going to give us 32 particles, and I'll explain why in a minute. 32 lines, sorry. We're going to bang the Y right up to the top so that we've got perfectly white lines. We're going to go to particle appearance. We're going to put size random down to 0 and opacity random down to 0. Now we're finished with everything except the scale, and I'll tell you why with the scale in a moment. We'll just put a polar warp on it, and then I can explain to you why you'll only get 32 lines off of a 64 and why we need to change the scale. In fact, I actually don't know why. I'll show you the reason why I'm going to change it. First thing we want to do is we want to bring our start radius up a bit and our end radius down a little bit, like so. Let's give us some nice radial lines there. Very fast, very accurate. Perfect radial lines, except for one thing. If you notice, this very bottom line is a different size to all the others, and this is why I'm using 64 to create 32, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the X scale and I'm going to bang that up to 2 like so. Now that's going to give me 32 perfectly exact lines, all exactly the same. Why this happens, I actually don't know. I don't understand it at all. I just know that that's the fix. That's the first thing that struck me when I seen it. I bumped the scale up to 2 and it worked, so we're good with that. And that's pretty much that radial line set out. Actually, what we'll do here is we'll rename this composite shot to radial lines small. We'll create a new composite shot, which we will call shot container again, because what I will do is I'll build another one, and we'll just bring in the radial line small here, like so, and now we'll create another new composite shot. We'll call this radial lines big. And the reason I'm going to do another one is I'll show you again how easy it is to get perfect accuracy. It's quite hard if you're using the grid to get perfect accuracy. In terms of, I'll just name this line color. In terms of, I want to now have exactly 4 lines in the north, the south, the east, and the west positions. So to do that with a grid, you've got to shift it about and look and work out and so on and so forth. But with the particles, absolutely brilliant. You can literally just go, right, I know I want 4, so I'm going to type in 8. I'm going to bring this right up to the top. I'm going to stick the scale on 2, like so. Particle appearance, I'm just going to set my randoms to 0, and that's it, you're done. I can literally now put the polar warp on it, open up the polar warp properties, and bring my start radius out, like so. Go back to the shot container, where I can open the radial lines big, and there we've got perfect gun sight or something. Very, very accurate. And as you can see, I literally typed in the numbers. There was no moving stuff around. I just banged the numbers in. I knew I wanted 32, so I typed in 64. I knew I wanted 4, so I typed in 8. I've got perfect sizes. Everything's all perfect. If we want to, we can go to Radial Lines Small here. Go to Transform Properties. Bring the scale down a little bit, like so. Go to our rotation. Come over here somewhere and stick our rotation at 4 or something like that. And now we've got the elements of a HUD. The other good thing about this sort of stuff, that looks a bit juddery there because it's rotating very, very fast. The other thing with these as well is you can actually animate these in 3D. You can turn these into 3D layers if you like. There's no issues with that whatsoever. So if you wanted to actually rotate this on all 3 axes, you actually can. Because once you've created the composite shots, they are just basically composite shots. So you can bring up your transforms and you can actually rotate them in any direction. So I'll do it quickly so you can actually see it. If we just turn on the keys here like so, and we'll come up to here and we'll just stick all these on one. Now, this is something I've noticed with the rotation. Doesn't actually work as I was expecting it to work. No. In this case, I'm actually just being an idiot. I've actually set the wrong levels here. I'm going to bring these back and just put these up to 1, so we get full rotations. I actually did degrees instead of actual rotations. So as you can see now, it's going perfectly in 3D. You're getting that kind of 2 tires effect that makes it look like it's rotating. Obviously, you can extrude this and stuff as well if you really wanted some 3D depth to it. If you wanted, I'm not a big fan of extrusions on HUDs. But as you can see, it works. It's there. It works. It'll go in 3D. There's a few caveats on this. It's always better if you're doing rotations like that to parent to a 3D point, because I've noticed a few times that rotation doesn't actually work how I expected it to work, but as soon as I parent it to a point, it works exactly how I expected it to work. Also, on top of that, the point is also very good because you've got that point central to the scene, which means you can move things, you can offset things off the point and have them rotating in various different ways and so on. This is quite an easy technique, as you saw, very rapid, very, very accurate. Like I say, with the grid, not so accurate. You will work with the grid, don't get me wrong, it will work with the grid, and that's how I was doing it originally, but I tried it with the atomic particles. It's so fast to set up. Uses a little bit of GPU, so once you've got this set up how you want it for your HUD, your display, or whatever, it's worth rendering it out as plates and then bringing them back in for the composite. Other than that, this is a really, really good fast technique, and it's, like I say, it was set up really, really fast, as you saw. Anything like gun sights and so on, perfect. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and we'll see you on the next one.